Until now, we've been focusing on gathering as much knowledge as we can about every aspect of the sales process as we lay down our strategic groundwork. We've considered the product, the market, the competition, and our personal selling philosophy. But remember, the key ideal that we hear so much of in sales is that quaint but always appropriate saying, "The customer is king." And think about it. Who is it after all? Who is the one who finally decides whether a sale takes place, and what's sold, regardless of the product or service, had better meet the customer's needs if there are to be future sales? So here we are, developing a customer strategy. In this unit, we'll go into depth in understanding the buying process, understanding buyer behavior, and developing a base for prospecting. We'll go into just what a customer strategy means and take a close look at the difference between consumer and business buyers. We'll discuss why it's so important to align the selling process with the customer's buying process, and this will lead us to an understanding of that buying process of the transactional, consultative, and strategic alliance buyer. And finally, we'll take up the influences that shape customer buying decisions. So let's begin with the concept of customer strategy. Here we try to plan so that we can get the maximum customer responsiveness. No two people are the same, and the way customers buy and what motivates them is different between every single one. As a salesperson, learn just how a buyer plans to make a purchase. Each customer will have some particular needs that must be met, and since the individuals making the purchases have different values, motivations, thoughts, and ideals, we can't just sum everyone into a single "the customer" category. As the text correctly points out, there's only this customer, and this customer is the only one you can influence in this proposed transaction. This is where we get into the customer's buying process. There may be different procedures and policies from buyer to buyer. It's necessary to understand why people buy. The key is always to remember that the customer is a person, not a number. So don't let yourself get too wrapped up in statistical data. Two types of buyers you're likely to encounter are the consumer buyer and the business buyer. Each tends to purchase in a different way. The business buyer is an organization that buys goods or services as part of the process of developing other products or services, which in turn are sold to others. Your consumer buyer, on the other hand, means an individual, a family, or other living group that buys items for personal use. With the business buyer, purchases are made for reasons other than personal consumption. There could be several who make the buying decisions. Buys are made on product expertise, usually with a rational criteria. Buyers may take a long time deciding before a decision to buy is made, and products purchased are often classified as to how organizational customers will use them. The consumer buyer, on the other hand, gets more personally involved. Purchases for personal or household use. Individuals usually make the decision to buy. Purchases can often be based on brand reputation and personal recommendations. The buy can be the result of an emotional response, and individual buyers tend to make quick decisions. Business buying decisions can be a first-time purchase. A company will spend a good deal of time studying a product. Consultative sales skills will come in handy here. There's the straight rebuy. Once a business is used to buying a particular product, future sales are made over and over. There's the modified rebuy. Here the salesperson has to stay close to the customer and continually ask about and learn what the customer needs. Then for business buyers, there's the strategic alliance. Here's the opportunity for the seller to assist business customers in buying the items they'll utilize together to sell products and services as packaged solutions. For the consumer buyer, there are buying decisions that are similar in some ways. There's the habitual buying decision, where tried and true and trusted products are simply purchased over and over. Brand loyalty. There are variety-seeking buying decisions. There can be situations where advertising, coupon, lower prices, and the like may be inspired to try a different product. Often the reasoning here is for variety and not necessarily out of dissatisfaction. Then we have the complex buying decision. This happens when we're talking about very expensive items that aren't purchased very often. Cars, house, vacations, insurance, and the like. Here we find buyers who spend a great deal of time learning about a product and who will likely take a long time making a decision. We now pay attention to finding ways to achieve alignment with the customer's buying process. The steps here are needs awareness and evaluation of solutions, resolution of problems, the purchase, and implementation. Needs awareness takes place when the buyer first recognizes that something new is necessary to change an imperfect situation. The salesperson is invaluable here in order to help the customer reach a solution. The next step is the evaluation of solutions. When the buyer begins looking for ways to meet the need, the salesperson provides increased value by working with the customer to provide information that leads to a good and informed choice. Then we have the resolution of problems. Here the customer has considered several possible alternatives and is ready to do something. The salesperson can help by providing information to overcome obstacles that might stop the customer from moving ahead with the sale. We're now at the point of purchase when the buyer decides to buy. Salespeople help move a deal forward by doing much of the behind-the-scenes work to keep the purchase hassle-free. We finish up with the process with implementation, the service after the sale. The salesperson can make sure that deliveries are made and made on time. And we now move on to greater depth into the buying process as it relates to three groups of buyers: the transactional, consultative, and strategic alliance buyers. The transactional buyer has already been sold something previously and either makes repeat purchases or at least knows what product is needed. These buyers don't want to waste time. The salesperson here needs to facilitate the deal and make it work as conveniently and smoothly as possible. The consultative buyer needs assistance in determining that there is a need and how to solve it. This is where the salesperson will want to work closely with the customer to provide information and options. The strategic alliance buyer is out to succeed by teaming with another company or companies. One other buyer theory is based on answering 5 questions. This is called the buyer resolution theory. Questions such as, why should I buy? What should I buy? Where should I buy? What's a fair price? And when should I buy? This is advantageous to the salesperson because it focuses attention on what goes on in the minds of buyers and will help in the information of a sales strategy. So let's go into depth now in understanding buyer behavior. There are some basic needs that influence buyer behavior, so you need to understand where that person is in his or her own needs at the time and how the buyer's behavior may be influenced. Maybe the best known categorization of human needs is the theory of Abraham Maslow, the psychologist. He theorizes that there are lower levels of needs that have to be satisfied before people can move up in their personal scales to the next levels. On the bottom is the physiological needs. Here we're talking about basic survival: food, water, sleep, shelter, pretty much what it takes to keep us alive. What it takes to meet these needs and what buyers tend to buy at this stage in life. Once the physiological needs are met, we move up to security and our desire to be safe and free from danger. It's at this level people become prime candidates for products such as life and health insurance. The next level is social needs and what it takes for approval from others and the desire for friends and relationships. Once we're at this level, we can start looking toward meeting our needs for esteem. Basically, we're motivated by a desire for admiration from others. And the highest level is self-actualization. Once we've established our own feelings of accomplishment and competence, we can begin looking to becoming all we can be. We can be influenced by different groups, the people around us, as we reach our buying decisions. We're susceptible to role influences, reference groups, social class and culture, and subculture. At the base of how we make a buying decision could be perception, how we feel about a product and the attitude we have about it. We also have buying motives, whatever it is that arouses our interest in a product and the drive we have to get it. Some buying motives are rational and may appeal to our good sense and judgment, and some are emotional, appealing to sentiment and passion. We also have patronage and product buying motives. It's important for the salesperson to take all of these characteristics and motives raised in this unit into account in order to tailor sales approaches to best meet the customer's needs, wherever that customer happens to be in life.